Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. The name is Ninja Knight. Make sure you like the video, make sure you share the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you. So the express.co.uk along with other media outlets are reporting that Manchester United and Ed Woodward could sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if Manchester United lose the Everton game on the weekend. Now this is according to Jason Cundy. So interesting to hear his thoughts on this one. He is a former Chelsea player and I suppose from being a former player understands what ways clubs think and the process that could be happening and unfolding at Manchester United. Throughout this video though I'm going to talk about various different things that I think really corroborate this story and make it fairly credible. United have made their worst home start to a Premier League season since 1972 and are currently sat in 15th spot in the table. That is nowhere near good enough for a club with the stature of Manchester United. We've seen the blow-ups that have happened and the alleged blow-ups as well too that have happened between members of the team and the problems that were supposedly being leaked that Manchester United had with Mason Greenwood, the Bruno Fernandes calling the team out and subsequently being substituted for it, and an awful lot of strange decisions then that Solskjaer has made throughout the season and in the past season, and the shielding of criticism that has been given to Paul Pogba with some absolutely woeful performances. The Red Devils have been solid away from home but have struggled at Old Trafford and haven't won there in the league since late last season. Wins in the Champions League against Paris Saint-Germain and RB Leipzig have somewhat lessened the pressure on Solskjaer, but he remains under intense scrutiny, and rightly so in my opinion. I mean, when you look at those two teams, Paris Saint-Germain and RB Leipzig, there's an awful lot of journeymen in both of those teams. There's certainly an awful lot of journeymen in PSG and the team particularly that played against Manchester United in that game. They have three players in my opinion that were playing that night in Neymar, Mbappe and Angel Di Maria. Fortunately, United were very good that night. Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Axel Tuanzebe were absolutely outstanding along with Lindelof, Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford then who got the winning goal. But let's not flatter to deceive and understand that they started at Paris Saint-Germain Moise Kean, who was bounced out of Everton, who was substituted by Duncan Ferguson after he had been just placed on as a substitute player. That's where Paris Saint-Germain are at the minute. So I mean, this whole hyping up of them as a big team, United were playing very well that night, but ultimately got away with it against, when you look at it, a very ordinary team. I will also say that Alex Telles had an incredible game and certainly helped Luke Shaw out, who was, in my opinion, the weakest member of that Manchester United defence, when Harry Maguire is not playing, of course. And then RB Leipzig, a game that was an absolute slog to watch. It was an absolute horror show for Manchester United. And until Solskjaer made changes that should have been made and should have actually started with some of those players late in the game, then United turned them over fairly easily and they lost their discipline and United went on to win the game. Now a lot of people would say, well, that was good managerial tactics. Not really when you had to throw on prominent players towards the end. And I mean, stupid decisions like not playing Edinson Cavani, very strange. And again, on the weekend, why wouldn't you start a top player like that has come and told you he wants to run about, he wants to show a bit of quality and he wants to be winning, and you're starting players then that have been out of form? It's a very strange thing to do. Look at Marcus Rashford handing a penalty to Anthony Martial, a man whose work rate is absolutely abysmal, and yet Solskjaer keeps choosing him. It's very weird. Then you look at Paul Pogba's attitude after conceding a penalty against Arsenal. He was tired. I mean, this is a guy that's an athlete. He was tired. That's a terrible excuse. And then the tackle itself inside the box is pure and utter stupidity. I can't understand how these players are then coached to say, don't do that. Speculation suggests that if results don't start to improve quickly, Woodward could fire the former striker and make a move to hire Mauricio Pochettino, which funnily enough links into what else I'll be talking about in this video. The Pochettino talk was certainly there on deadline day. They had already made contact with him, and to me, in my opinion, with the people that they've brought in, the Van de Beek, the Pellistri, the Cavani, they all seem, in my opinion, to be more so Pochettino players than they do Solskjaer players. Solskjaer has gone very much so into buying British over the last couple of years, whereas now they've brought 2 South Americans in. Of course, you will say Bruno Fernandes is there as a Portuguese player. Yes, absolutely. But his idea has been to promote the youth, and it's not quite worked out for an awful lot of individuals. So I think Solskjaer is facing the chop. I think he knows it. I think the players know it, and I think that that's why they stood up against the likes of PSG and RB Leipzig, who are, in my opinion, limited teams anyway. But certainly the club will be looking at the Premier League position, because Manchester United, let's face it, are probably not going to win the Champions League this season. So the likelihood of them getting back into the Champions League next season is a high priority. I think you could see this second sooner rather than later, to be honest. The former Tottenham boss is believed to be the front runner if Solskjaer is let go, and confirmed on Monday night that he is ready for his next role. Interesting that they keep going for Pochettino. He seems to be a media darling. For me, I would like Allegri. I think he's been a successful manager. I think he would bring that aura with him. He's definitely gotten the best out of Pogba that United fans are going to have to deal with, unfortunately, for however long. Hopefully not too long, that United do get rid of him eventually, because the guy he's not good to have at the club. And maybe they could look at Diego Simeone, who has had very good exposure in the past. We'll wait and see. But they seem to be keen on Mauricio Pochettino, and I think with Pelistri and Cavani, they're certainly signings that I think would make sense for him. Cundy believes that he could be called upon sooner rather than later, and he predicted on TalkSport that United could pull the trigger within the next few weeks. United face Istanbul Başakşehir in the Champions League this week before playing Everton at Goodison Park on Saturday in their final game before the international break. Cundy explained that if the Red Devils don't beat the Toffees, which is quite a likelihood given how Everton have been playing recently, the international break could spell the end of Solskjaer's future. The problem Ole's got now is that he's picked up 1 point from 4 at home, he said. The teams he's dropped points against are Spurs, who absolutely ransacked Manchester United. It was a disgrace of a game. 3-2, 2 against Chelsea, and 3 at the weekend. The Chelsea game was absolutely abysmal as well too, because that was a team that came to not really play, and United should have gotten the momentum and should have said, right, we're going out here to beat them. That should be the mentality, that should be the attitude. Instead, it was an awful game to watch, and United went away then missing out on 2 points against really bitter rivals. They also then lose at the weekend to Arsenal. Not good enough. Again, like I said, all comes down to Paul Pogba. Squarely the blame is on him, and he's not a guy that cares. He's going to do the same thing again and again. Doesn't care when he loses possession, kicks it away constantly, and then doesn't chase back. He lets players walk by him, run by him to get chances at goal. I wouldn't have him in the team. He'd be gone. Be playing Van de Beek. Those teams are teams who will be looking to finish above United. The board will be looking at that quite closely. The fact that there's ground lost already and there's plenty of time. Of course, there's plenty of time. The game against Everton is enormous. So this guy is saying this now as a former player, so he would know what's going on inside the mentality of the club and the dressing room. United's away record since January-February has been excellent, no defeats. If they lose this international break, I think he goes. This is massive for Ole. I think if they were to lose against Everton, then that international break, that can be a graveyard for some managers. Well, what heightens this kind of idea is Mauricio Pochettino's comments that he made on Monday Night Football, and he said that he could be back soon after a year out of the game. He said he's a big fan of what's going on at football clubs. He would love to return. He feels that when he goes to do training or anything like that, it's not a job. He explained that he likes it. He talked positively about Manchester United players, particularly Mason Greenwood. So that would suggest to me that he is very much so interested in getting that Manchester United job. I wouldn't be surprised if they've made contact with him already and told him, stay ready. Mauricio Pochettino has made it perfectly clear he is ready to turn to football management. So this comes from Sports Joe. Nearly a year has passed since the Argentine was dismissed by Tottenham Hotspur. In that time, he has regularly been linked with a return, with speculation that he is still highly regarded by Manchester United, never too far away. I think it's quite interesting because, for me, yes, he did manage Tottenham Hotspur on a shoestring budget, but he did get a very fortunate win against Ajax, who completely capitulated to gift Tottenham Hotspur a Champions League final place. And before the ball was even kicked, Tottenham were gone, mentally out there, and Liverpool went on to absolutely smash them. So, to me, there is a question about his mentality. There's a question about, even when he lost the league that he was challenging with Leicester that year, how he got frantic and got over emotional and essentially gifted the title to Leicester. To me, there are things that I'd remember, and it would certainly question my thinking of if this guy can do it. I know a lot of people will counter that point and say, well, look, he only had X amount of money. The same can be said about Manchester United. I mean, look at the money that was given to Jose Mourinho. He wanted certain players, he didn't get them. Then he was given other players he didn't want. This is stuff that has happened to Louis van Gaal as well too. And I think very clear to see, even with this summer's project, that these were players that he definitely didn't ask for. I don't think Solskjaer asked for one of those players at all, and I don't think that those guys that arrived were in Solskjaer's plans whatsoever. I mean, you only have to look at the Donny van de Beek situation. You have to look at the Cavani situation. Two fellas on the bench. You know what I'm saying? So, to me, I'd say the likelihood of Solskjaer being moved on is quite high. Is Pochettino the right choice? In my opinion, no. I know a lot of people will disagree with that, but I think if you get a proven winner like Allegri into the club, I think he could work wonders. And like I said, as much as I dislike him, he could work with Paul Pogba for a while and maybe get some sort of performance out of him before United do end up getting short of him to whoever will buy him. I mean, I don't know how a top club would buy Paul Pogba with the performances he's had. It's scandalous. So, appearing on as a pundit on Sky Sports Monday Night Football, Pochettino was asked almost instantly if he felt ready to make a return. I'm always ready to be involved in the game, he responded. I love football. It is my passion, not my job. It's not a stress when you are working. It's not a stress when you are going into the training ground. It's not a stress to prepare a team to play. I'm always ready to be involved in the game. Pochettino first arrived in English football in 2013 when he was named manager of the Southampton team. After just one season at St Mary's, he took charge of Spurs, guiding them to the cusp of Champions League glory in 2019. They do like to miss out on the fact that he did capitulate with Spurs that season as well too, particularly when Leicester won the league. So you have the former Argentina international was dismissed last season after Spurs failed to replicate the form that had seen them reach the Champions League final against Liverpool. He was replaced by Jose Mourinho and has been out of work since then. Manchester United's defeat to Arsenal on Sunday afternoon has again seen reports claim Pochettino could move to Old Trafford if the 20-time English champions decide to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the weeks ahead. The United job was not mentioned by Pochettino, but the timing of his appearance after 3 straight home defeats in the league for Solskjaer's and his comments will have been duly noted at Old Trafford. Rumours came out that on deadline day they contacted him and said, right, if this doesn't go well, you're in. Be prepared. So to me, it doesn't surprise me whatsoever. The ace of Solskjaer's promo jacket sleeve right now is his size positive start to their Champions League campaign. But like I said, against PSG and RB Leipzig, two teams that when you look at them, particularly the teams that played against Man United, not top teams really. Pochettino was also strongly linked with Newcastle United early in the year before the Saudi-backed takeover of the club collapsed. He is also believed to be one of 2 options considered by Manchester City if Pep Guardiola does not extend his current contract at the Etihad. So it'll be interesting to see. This guy is really well liked with the media. I would certainly have question marks around the mentality. I would certainly have question marks about the winner's mentality. I would certainly have question marks about the way the club are conducting business. If they didn't want Solskjaer this season, they should have gotten rid of him. I think last season as well too, they eked into a decent place just about. I think that was the time maybe to let go. I don't think giving him another summer and kind of giving him the run around with the players that he's gotten was a good idea. I also don't think that picking up on a media darling is a good idea. I think they should be getting the best manager for the job, a manager that's successful, a manager that's proven. Whereas, like I said, I don't know if I'm going to be too happy if Pochettino comes into the play when he's not really known for winning anything. So, question marks certainly are being raised by me, and I know everybody doesn't feel the same about that one. I know people like his style of football, they like his brand, they like the emotion that he puts into the game. Maybe that's something that the club could use because there's an awful lot of people there that just don't care. Bruno Fernandes seems to be the only one that cares. I get the feeling that Alex Telles will care. Scott McTominay definitely cares. Rashi, as Solskjaer calls him, he was been fantastic, as Solskjaer would say. I think maybe that's the type of guy that you want to be moulding the team around. Likes of Bruno Fernandes and getting rid of the likes of Paul Pogba. Get him out of there. Get rid of the guys like Slabhead, not good enough. On you go. Luke Shaw out. Jesse Lingard still at the club. Good luck. Phil Jones still there. Get him out. There's many players at the club now that I think that have served their time and they need to be moved on very quickly. And I think maybe Pochettino might be a little bit more ruthless than somebody else who's at the helm currently. But again, it comes down to the clown show that's at the club and the absolute circus that it's become over the last couple of years, with people that are at the top who are not football people questioning people like the likes of Jose Mourinho. And to me, that's why Solskjaer has lasted as long as he has, because I don't think he's quite going to question those people and cause problems and rock the boat the way the likes of Mourinho did. Proven winner, knows what he wants, wasn't given it, said to the club, I'm not happy with this, and the club then decided to side with Paul Pogba. Egg on their face now, because I mean that guy is just ridiculous in my opinion. Anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. That's the news for today. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would you be happy to see Mauricio Pochettino manage Manchester United, or would you like to see somebody else managing Manchester United? Is there a particular reason why you think there's an affinity with Pochettino with Manchester United and between the media, or do you think that this could be another case of maybe a lot of hype that's been placed on somebody with no real record of winning an awful lot, particularly in the English game? Would that be a question mark around him? Let me know. Who else would you like to see maybe be talked about within this frame of mind? Like I said, I've talked about Allegri, I've talked about Simeone. Is there anybody else out there that you think maybe could be a good shoe-in for this job? Look at the guy that they have at Everton at the minute, Carlo Ancelotti, great manager. So I'm curious to see if anybody else feels the same, or if it's a case of this is probably going to be the best way forward for the club. He does play attacking football, absolutely. Doesn't worry too much on the defensive side of things. I don't feel like there's been any improvement in quality around the team for a large part. But ultimately, I think if United got somebody else that showed a little bit more passion, maybe they would fare a little bit better, and maybe members that aren't as passionate would be then moved on and told thanks very much and good luck. So interesting stuff that's happening at the club. Let me know what you think. This article has been shared today, just on the cusp of a Champions League tie, which I think is very interesting timing. It's going to put some undue stress and pressure on Solskjaer and the team, so we'll see how they will go with that. I expect them to win. If they don't, I'd be very surprised and obviously disappointed. But nothing would really surprise me now with the club and the team at the moment, because it's lacking, in my opinion. Gonna leave the video there. Drop a like, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Thanks very much and good luck.